Cyberpunk 2077's biggest sin, by far, is the amount of cut content going on with North Oak. This part of the map in earlier versions of Cyberpunk was supposed to be substantially different to the one which we have in-game. This old pre-release version of the game's map shows us just how radically different the area was. All these little squares are houses and mansions, big fucking mansions. North Oak's in-game is a lot more empty and pointless.
Oh my goodness!
However, we do actually have a handful of mansions that survived the cutting room floor. One of them being Denny's property. This is a location that's briefly used in a side quest, but is never actually opened up to the player. So that got me thinking, is there actually anything inside this place? So today we're going to be breaking some boundaries. We're going to be flying through some locked doors to see what's actually going on inside of Denny's mansion. So what I find the most interesting about Denny's mansion is that there is actually a pretty basic interior of this building which you can actually look into if you access the second floor or the first floor, depending on how you look at it, not ground level, so yeah, the first floor. And you can kind of see that there is something going on, like there is a basic living room layout, there is a basic bedroom layout, but you can't really see all that much. Even if you walk around to the side here, you can get a couple different angles, but for the most part, what you're looking at is a extremely basic interior. But what I find funny is that this first floor of Denny's mansion isn't even accessible. Like, there's no staircase, there's no lift, there's no nothing. Like, it's actually entirely cut off from the player in theory. The easiest way to show off how Denny's mansion works is by basically splitting it into two. We have the very basic interior, which is never accessible but definitely visible. Even if you clip in here, you can kind of tell that you're not supposed to be here. Like, it has detail, it has lighting, it has everything which you'd expect from an interior, hell, even down to like perfect collision. But you do get some weird quirks, particularly in this bedroom area here and the living room area, where, I don't know, it just seems kind of empty. It has that kind of strange liminal look to it, which is pretty consistent with interiors that aren't accessible. You can use the stairs to go down, and then we're hit with a pair of bongo drums and also an inaccessible door. All of these doors are inaccessible. Around the other side as well, we have yet another interior, which is, again, very expertly crafted by CDPR. But then the next interior over is, again, like real simple, kept real basic. But in between these two viewable interiors, we don't have anything. This is, perfect. This makes absolute sense. You just have this kind of dead space where the player isn't able to look in. So anyway, I know the most exciting part of this is what's behind these locked doors in Denny's mansion. Is it like Diddy's mansion? There is this kind of weird box layout to this first set of double doors, which is pretty interesting, and even down to like this weird little curvature of the wall here. The kind of structure of this first room does make me think that there was supposed to be something. If we were to click behind the shoebox, we can actually get into the kind of main bulk of Denny's ground floor. There's a pretty basic layout, and I think this is what's fundamentally interesting about Denny's mansion, is that there's almost like a structure of a house, right? Like, there's a logical structure of how something would look, but it just hasn't been fully completed, or hell, even fully started, to be honest with you. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you can imagine that there's supposed to be a ground floor, and this becomes especially apparent with, say, the garage or the garage, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's a garage, right? That's just what it is. But anyways, this is presumed to be a garage. We have like two doors here, which you can actually scan, which is pretty interesting, but I don't think you can use them. There's even this little doorway here, which has just been left abandoned, presumably because this whole garage is some kind of prefab. But if we were for 1 second to entertain the idea that P. Diddy's mansion was supposed to be accessible, then chances are, this would have been a logical entrance and exit to the garage. You have an entrance outside and you have an entrance inside. It's just kind of how it works, especially a mansion. Do I think that this place was supposed to be accessible? I mean, maybe. There's always a chance that the side quest, which utilizes this location, would have used the interior as well as the exterior. To my knowledge, you don't ever get the opportunity to go inside of this building, so who knows, maybe there was additional dialogue, additional interactions with Johnny, with Denny, with all of these characters that maybe would have gone inside. Who knows? I think what's more likely though, and this is what I personally lean further into, is that Denny's mansion is basically just a big prefab. It's this kind of generic North Oaks architecture, which CDPR probably just intended to dot around the North Oaks hills. We can see that North Oaks was definitely supposed to be more residential. So how would CDPR go about that? They would probably create a few prefabs, a few mansion prefabs, and then dot them around the North Oaks hills. Maybe Denny's mansion is one of those old residential homes that didn't make it into the game, that has been repurposed for the sake of, saving time and money and all of that good stuff. But that's Denny's mansion. Unfortunately, there is nothing super substantial going on behind locked doors, but I thought it was an interesting location, particularly because it's in an area of Cyberpunk's map which is so pregnant with cut content. Gross word to use, but you get the picture. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, thanks for being patient. I will be uploading more frequently. Thank you so much, and as always, I'll catch you lot in a bit.